Boo! Wow! No, it's cutting me off.
I'm surprised it's recognizing though.
Yeah, it's barely. It's like cutting off here. Anyway,
Oh my god, this
welcome
guy has
back,
the
everyone.
hallway.
Yeah, I got the Overlook Hotel. The little girls aren't there.
Welcome back, guys.
Welcome back to the Overlook Hotel. No. Okay, let's do the proper one.
I just
Welcome back
noticed.
to the AAA, also known as the AAA podcast, where we talk everything alcoholism to recovery and spookiness as Halloween comes around the corner. Anyway, I'm taking this thing off. Ugh.
He's under there,
I am
guys.
your host, Jovan, and as
hey,
always
what's
with
up?
me, we
It's
got the
Darren
one and
G.
only. Yeah,
I love saying the Darren G. I don't know why I always put the in front of my name.
I don't know. I mean, I
Just the
I
way
do
it
it with Jovan. I got thejovan.com, so I feel it's something
True.
about the. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
All
We
right,
got
so
the does.
so before getting into it, I don't know if people can tell. I don't know if I make it obvious, but I'm thinning, and Jack Nicholson in The Shining as an adult man is thinning, and so
Like your
my hair
hair?
is, yeah, my hair isn't
Okay.
as long as his, but like I'm trying to like just do that look that he has in the movie
It's just
where he
like
just
a.
takes both sides. Yeah, but it's not long enough, so you can't tell. But anyway, I got and like he was, I think he was wearing a bomber jacket. I honestly can't remember that well, but
Yeah, it was like a bomber jacket with a blue button up underneath.
yeah.
Or
So
something like
I
this.
got something going on, a little close. Yeah, I got a
Love
button
it.
up. I got the jacket. Yeah,
I'm going like Halloween, like that's
nice.
me. I'm going
Yeah,
like
yeah.
zombie
I like it.
Halloween.
Ghoulish. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, we're back, everyone. Last week we talked about Flight, and this week we are talking about the movie The Shining. Why are we talking about these movies? Because they, in some way, relate to alcoholism. Uh, Obviously, Flight related directly to alcoholism, and The Shining, it's more of a like a subplot or something like that. But yeah, it's the next movie on the list that we're going to jump into. For those who have not seen The Shining, this will be a spoiler discussion. The movie came out exactly 40 years ago, so please.
Yeah.
I don't
So
know.
please, if you want to
Watch
have
the movie and then
nightmares,
come back.
please go ahead.
Yeah.
This is the thing. This is why for me it gave me nightmares. Like we're 90s babies. Like I know we're not like the intent, like, you know what I mean? Some people are like 90s
Yeah, we
babies.
didn't come out in
Okay,
the
good for you.
Yeah.
But those type of movies, like the movies that I watch with my dad, are all those type of movies where things aren't so CGI. Like everything is CGI. Where the type of movies that are like for instance, like Alien is a perfect example. Alien, they use like actual figurines and things like that to like, and those type of things scare me more
because they're actually real.
it's real. Like that's what
Yeah.
that's why this movie made me like. So for instance, if you guys want to watch this movie and not sleep for 2 days, please be my guest. But other people might watch this and be like, this is corny because they were like born in the 2000s or something. You know what I mean? Like I'm not saying that's that, but I have just a different appreciation for it because I was born at a certain time. When I saw it, it was super scary for me. Like the first time I saw it, I was like, I'm never gonna watch this movie ever again until like now, basically.
Yeah, sorry about forcing you to do that. But
You didn't force me. I was excited
that's true.
because I just was like, it was a great.
So long.
It's filmed beautifully. Like it's really nice.
Yeah.
I was looking up stuff afterwards about it because it's just such a nice the way it's filmed. And then just to hear, okay, apparently it took him like 2 years to like make.
Oh, I didn't know that. I would assume, it took a lot of planning went into the movie, obviously, because they got an actual hotel. I mean, that's a huge place, you know. You can tell in the movie that it's real. So
yeah. So like at the time, most movies were being filmed within like 2-3 months.
Yeah. 2 years.
He did it in 2 years.
Yeah. Well, a lot happened. There were a lot of doors that they were replacing with that axe scene near the climax of the movie. The blood coming out of the elevator, that was completely real. That wasn't like a miniature or anything. You can tell that was real. Like chairs are being thrown towards the camera and stuff.
It's insane. Yeah. Some of the scenes they filmed like 100 times. The scene with the boy and the cop. What's the boy's name again? Nick or something, or Andrew? Nick?
Doc.
Doc.
That's his nickname is Doc because it's like, hey, what up, Doc?
Okay,
Danny boy.
Yes. Yeah. Why am I thinking? Okay. Anyways, besides the point. There's a scene where he's talking in the room with the cop.
Okay.
Or the investigator or whatever, and that scene they filmed like 100 times.
No kidding. Well, so I'm trying to think because he talks to a doctor. This lady comes in to like check him because he had some kind of hypnotic stroke thing.
The guy after that guy.
I'm trying to think what guy after that would be. The boy at the beginning.
It's some black guy.
Oh, the chef, the head chef of the Overlook Hotel. Yeah, who also has the shine because that's what his grandma called it, and they could talk to each other without moving.
He has like the
ability,
the gift.
Yeah.
Why am I thinking he's a cop though?
He's just got that look. Who knows? Yeah, he's got that persona. He's got that swagger. Yeah, but well, probably because he is investigating, right? Like near the end of the movie, he's like talking to cops so that's and stuff, and he's like, "I'm gonna take a bobcat out and investigate and see what's going on," and then he gets axed right in the chest.
Yeah,
God, he gets killed so quick. He literally just like gets axed and then he's just left there for dead. And Shelley Duvall sees that and she's like, ah, and just runs away. It's like, bro, that dude's in
I wasn't expecting that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
so sad.
Oh my god. Okay.
Especially because he's a guy with a gift of telepathy. How does he not know that Jack Nicholson isn't there around the corner, you know? Because Danny the whole time is like listening in on his dad's conversations with his mom, right? Like he's literally just in the room going, oh, shaking, and then he can hear them talking even though they're like a floor away and 100, you know, like on the other side of the hotel. So if he's got that power of telepathy. Too. Yeah, the whole thing. Well, so apparently there's other background stuff like Kubrick and the writer who, you know, this is based off a book from Stephen King. They did not get along. Stephen King hated Stanley Kubrick. And so Stanley Kubrick specifically, at the beginning of the film, when the main character, Jack Torrance, is driving his car, it's and I guess the colors are inconsequential. It doesn't really matter. Let's say it was like a green car. I honestly forget. Stephen King wrote that it was like a blue car. And he's like, have it be a blue car, and got really upset. And he's like, why isn't the color the same? They were like getting petty. It was just about power. It didn't really matter what color the car was. It's just like, no, you make the color what I said it was in the book. And then later on in the movie, when the head chef is coming back to the Overlook Hotel, and he's just driving into town after a snowstorm hit, there's a truck that's flipped over, and it's on top of a blue car. Like the one that Stephen King wanted. Yeah, so Stanley Kubrick like destroyed it in the film as this tiny scene where he's literally driving by and you just see that there's like a blue car destroyed under a tanker.
So interesting.
And it's like, that's so petty though. Like, come on, guys. You're like dealing with millions of dollars trying to make this film. Like all these people are working so hard and you guys are having this weird squabble. But the movie's still great through and through. The cinematography, especially that first shot of the helicopter shot going across the water.
Yeah, the cinematography is amazing. There's so many scenes where I was like, this is just like, take notes.
Yeah.
Take notes. Like, how did he film some of this stuff? I'm like, wow. But then I looked up afterwards. It's like, it's a lot of he wanted specific scenes in specific ways. And that's maybe why it took so long.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see them constantly going back and forth and rescheduling just based on getting the people. And Shelley Duvall, the actress who plays the mom, I believe she's still alive, but and maybe she had pre-existing conditions, but she had a mental breakdown and like stopped acting after this. I'm pretty sure it was after this movie. She might have continued to work in the 90s, but Stanley Kubrick like destroyed her life, and now she's like an old crazy lady. And she was like interviewed by Dr. Phil recently, like maybe not recently, maybe like 2016 or something. And she's saying like aliens are real and they've like abducted her and stuff. And it's like, bro, so she's like lost her mind. It's like, damn,
she's lost it. She's lost it.
I'm like, I feel like maybe she.
Like, what did the movie do to you, boo? Yeah, what did the movie do to you, boo?
The director was just really mean, like, just broke her down as an actress and was like, you're gonna scream and you're gonna, you know. And they just kept making her do reshoots and stuff.
I looked up some stuff like that too. Like that's what they made Nicholson do.
Right. Yeah. Just keep like screaming at her, or just keep. Yeah. But at least Jack Nicholson had already acted crazy, because I'm pretty sure he got the role for The Shining because of the work that he did on One Cuckoo.
But there's some scenes, like I don't know which scene. I don't know what specifically scenes there is. There's a scene where like he's like yelling at someone or something, and they said that he had to do that scene over and over again until like he snapped. Like he was done. Like, you know what I mean? Like they kept pushing him and pushing him and pushing him and pushing him and pushing him. So I believe that's so much for
The actress.
mom role. Yeah, the actress.
Yo,
because
that's not the right way to do it. That's bad directing. Bad. That's a crime against humanity. You should not psychologically break people in order to get good acting.
Yeah, like, but that's basically what he did.
Yeah.
Basically, to get that perfect, like,
to get that
eerie,
that
feeling.
Face.
Yeah, it's like to get
that of like people freaking out. Yeah.
Which is pretty intense.
It is. It's like, damn, I would never want to work with him. It's like when people say, what magical world would you want to go to? And some people say, oh, Lord of the Rings. Other people say Star Wars, whatever. Nobody says Game of Thrones. Because they're like, fuck that. Everybody dies and is like brutally mutilated. It's like same with like working on a Kubrick film. It's like, oh, which director would you want to work with? Spielberg. Oh, Christopher Nolan. It's like, yeah. But not Kubrick. No, that guy seems like a psycho. I would not want to work under him. He's like abuses all of his actors. But hey, it's
only
all
heard. But it's like, oh my god, it's just intense though. But hey,
what are you gonna do?
One of those things.
Yeah. But anyway, on to the movie. So the reason why we're talking about it in the first place is because Jack Nicholson's character, who I just alluded to earlier, I'm trying to think of his name now, Jack Torrance. It's a motif in Stephen King films or books or whatever, that the main character is a writer, and so for this one it's the exact same thing. And then usually they have issues, whether it's with alcohol or just with cocaine or whatever, because it's all things that the guy in real life has had issues with. And so in the movie The Shining, the main character is 5 months sober, and he did so after accidentally dislocating his son's shoulder because he came home from work drunk and he was angry, and his kid had paper all over the floor,
and he was
and
pissed.
So he pissed, and he like grabbed him, like pull him up, and he like literally just ripped his arm out of the So yeah, and that's just like a basic callback to what parenting was like in the 80s and 70s and 60s and 50s. Parents were literally abusive, and that was normal. It's crazy to think about, but
literally, it's like that's so normal. Yeah. And imagine on alcohol on top of that, when you're just like, again, that's the thing. It's like you're just out of, you're not really all there. Like for going through that scene, I'm like, I could totally relate to that. And in the last episode we were mentioning last week, I was mentioning like with my dog and like things where you would do things out of the norm where you normally wouldn't do.
Yeah.
As your like everyday self, not drinking, but sometimes the not drinking and the drinking, it like. So say for instance, I'm not drinking and I come home, I could be very, very upset because I didn't drink. But then I could still come home and be very, very upset drunk because I'm just drunk. It's like there's no winning, you know?
Yeah, it's a lose-lose scenario.
Yeah, so it's like you're just in this trap where like sometimes it hits the wrong day where you come home and you're wasted or you're not wasted. And because you didn't drink, you flip out on people.
Yeah.
This boy is a perfect example.
Of the
with
victims,
with all his stuff just being around. It's just a boy, like his stuff is just around. Like it's a kid.
He's like a little 6-year-old. Yeah, leave him alone.
He's always just like playing with stuff, and like it's like that's just who he is. He's a little kid.
That's what they do. Yeah, exactly. He's not like hyperactive. He's literally just being himself.
I guess that's kind of showing the extent of his alcohol, like the extent of his alcohol. To literally, you don't know your strength. You just pop the little
grab a kid and rip him up. Yeah,
it's just brutal.
Yeah, and then as the movie progresses, we are told that because he goes in for a job interview to the Overlook Hotel, and they're saying, well, you seem like a great fit. You were highly recommended from your past employer. But now that you're here, we have to tell you something very unfortunate. And we tell you as a precaution that the last tenants...
What? I don't understand. Like, at this point of the movie, I'm like, who afterwards, what he says, I'm like, who would just say this?
Who would say, yeah.
I'm down.
Like you gotta tell him. Yeah.
Okay, but continue. Yeah.
So like, the guy's like, hey, thanks for coming in for the interview. You're hired. But now that we got you, we got to give you a little warning. The last tenants who upheld the boiler room and the electricity and like upheld the place throughout winter when it's unoccupied, he actually killed his wife and 2 daughters. So sucks to suck, but you don't seem crazy. So what are you gonna do? And like, I'm sure other films had mentioned this before, but this film, I just remember being like the first mention of this in media. He was like, you might experience something called cabin fever, where everything seems normal, but then as the days progress, you slowly go crazier and crazier and more frustrated with the people you're living with, and you start to get a little itchy, and you got to go outside or something. So keep yourself occupied. And he says, you don't have to worry about me. I plan on writing a novel, so 5 months of peace and quiet are perfect, and that's what I'm gonna do.
It's like,
and
no,
it's like,
I would never say this. I would be out instantly. I'm like, I'm out. See ya.
I'm like, I don't give a shit about ghosts. Clearly, there must be
care.
fumes in the hotel that make people aggravated or something. Like, there must be another explanation of why this guy murdered his wife and 2 kids.
Like who just says, oh, no, it's all good. I'm just going to write.
By the way.
No, I'm out. I'm to peace.
Yeah. It's nuts. And then, so this is something that I didn't actually...
I was like, he's crazy.
Yeah, why do people say yes to these things?
I don't get that. Like, what do you mean? It's like, and then why are they going to tell him after he gets the job? Why are they not telling him before this? Because obviously they want someone to.
They don't want him to check it out.
Say no. They don't want him to run away.
Now that you've already invested emotionally in being here, let me tell you something really messed up. Yeah, because now he goes, well, I'm obviously obliged. I already said yes. But that's how you trick people into shit. I don't know. Business sucks, man. But yeah, and then so one thing that I didn't notice until this time, and it's because I think this is the first time I've seen The Shining since its sequel came out in 2019, Dr. Sleep, is that the chef, whose name I forget, but the gentleman that comes back to investigate near the end of the movie and gets axed, he's talking to the boy, Danny, and he says that, like, me and my grandma have this thing that you have. It's called the Shine. That's what we call it. It's telepathy, basically,
like this
right?
Gift, yeah.
But not just people have it. Objects can have the Shine, too. The Overlook Hotel has this ability. And so you're like, oh, shit, it's a haunted house, right? That's basically what he's saying. It has the ability to, apparate things into existence. And I didn't catch on until this viewing that when Jack Nicholson has a fight with his wife because there are bruise marks on Danny's neck, and he's like not talking now, and he just got a little finger puppet, and he's like, "Red rum," and he's like, "What did you do to our boy? You strangled him, you monster!" Yeah, it's really messed up. But she grabs the boy, runs away, and Jack Nicholson at this point hasn't had anything to drink yet. He's sober, but he's slowly getting more frustrated as cabin fever sets in, because this is like a month later, and like the snowfall is in, and they're secluded. And he's really angry, and he's like going, rah! And he's like just punching the air, and he's angry, and he's walking down the hall, and then he goes into the empty ballroom, and he sits down at the bar that's got just empty shelves behind it. The camera goes over to him, and he just goes like this, and then he's looking, and he's looking at this guy, and he just goes, "Hey, how's it going?" And then the camera goes back, and there's a guy there and all this beer, and this guy's like, "Would you like a drink?" And then they're just having this discussion about how, like, kids and women are like leeches for your money, and they all support you, and no one, all this stuff. It's like super misogynistic shit that's like been passed down forever. Is that like women are leeches and kids are leeches and guys are just independent, whatever. And then he starts drinking again, and so he gives up. So whether or not he's actually drinking, we don't know, right? It's metaphorical, it's abstract, right? We just know that the place is haunted and that these ghosts are talking to him because he's in this emotionally distressed state. And then this waiter guy bumps into him and says, "Oh, sorry, let me clean that up." And he takes him into the bathroom and starts cleaning up this stuff off his shirt. And then Jack Nicholson goes, "Wait, you're the guy who was here last year. I remember your face. I saw you on the news. You killed your wife and kids." And he's like, "No, they're somewhere in this hotel. They're perfectly fine." And what I didn't realize, I thought that was a ghost talking to him. But now upon watching it again, it's the hotel pretending to be that guy. That's why the guy doesn't recognize that he's the one who killed his wife and kids, because it's not him. It's the hotel pretending to be him.
Isn't it a ghost though?
Yeah.
The whole ghost though.
But all the ghosts.
It's like the hotel
possesses all the people. So the people aren't them anymore. They're possessed by the hotel. So this hotel has possessed this man to kill. Like it possessed the guy, the last guy, to kill his wife and 2 kids.
Correct.
And then took over his soul or his ghost or whatever. And so when Jack Nicholson first says, "I recognize your face, you're the guy who killed your family."
What? Yeah.
And he goes, "No, they're here in the hotel." What he means is, the ghosts are here in the hotel. But then he continues to say, "No, I was never a tenant of this hotel. It was you. It was always you." And then there's that callback at the end of the movie, it says like 1929, and it shows Jack Nicholson in that picture in the black and white.
Yes.
So at first that was supposed to be like a mystery, but now that I've seen Doctor Sleep, I realized that that's what it did to the other guy. So that picture's not real.
Yes.
It's part of the hotel. But every time a new person comes, the hotel possesses that person and says that you were the one who was always here. And then that Jack Nicholson he'll be the waiter next time or the bartender or something, right? And that's what literally happens in the sequel. Spoiler alert, but he becomes the bartender. So it's like the cycle.
I didn't see the sequel.
Yeah. So
yeah, it's just that's what I was just mentioning. The cycle just keeps on going. But I guess that's the good thing about certain like haunted houses / like horror films is when they're kind of trapped in like a scenario that they can't really get out of.
Yeah, especially because it's a metaphor for his alcoholism too. Yeah. Is that the cycle of violence, and it also alludes to the Native Americans being massacred by the colonists when they came to America, because that's what the elevator of blood is supposed to be, and that's why there's like Native American prints on the walls and stuff, because they're like, oh, this used to be a reserve until we took it over in the early 1900s. Yeah, it's like, bro, you murdered them. Like, you're just not saying it. And they're like, we built it on their burial ground. Yeah. So it's haunted by like a million different ways. The place is haunted. And and then that plays into this idea of spousal abuse and domestic violence brought on by drinking, where he's nice until he's not. And it's
until he's
through
not
drinking that he becomes violent, because it's like a Jekyll and Hyde scenario. Him being possessed by the hotel is the same as him being possessed by the alcohol. Yeah. Makes him violent.
It's so good, yeah. And how like the house kind of possesses him to like drink.
Yeah, which is the same thing that alcohol does. It possesses you to drink. So it's both are playing off each other theme-wise, where it's basically the same thing. The whole thing could just be a metaphor.
Because I think that's basically like when the movie kind of like changes, when it's like he literally has that drink.
Yeah.
In the bar.
He takes it down, and then
everything just starts changing. Yeah. Like because I'm pretty sure there's one scene. I love the scene where he's like walking in the hall. Like I don't know how it's filmed. It's like it must be filmed like on some sort of like panning thing where like he's walking down the hallway and then he goes into the room where everybody is. But the way it's filmed is so beautifully done, because it's like an empty hallway and then a filled room with
instantly
so many
there's like
people,
noise and everyone there.
It's like so many, but it's like. But like the way it was filmed from like the cutoff of like him walking down the hallway, it's so quiet, and then all suddenly it's like tons of people.
Yeah, there's tons of shots like that where it's like it plays off of
I love that
this
scene.
idea where you think you're isolated, and then all of a sudden one of them is like right at the beginning,
makes when you go crazy almost.
Yeah, it's like as if you were there. It's
it's
that you're
really
alone,
strange.
And then all of a sudden there's people there, and you're just like, it's like a dream. You just go, oh, that's normal. That's not weird, because that's usually what happens in dreams, right? It's like some scenario happens that's completely insane, but you just go with it because it's a dream, or you're like not even aware it's a dream, right? It's the same kind of thing with this. You're possessed by the house, and so you're walking alone. All of a sudden there's like 100 people from the 1930s there. And you don't question it. You just go, "Yep, this is normal." And so you just
he just like walks in. He just like goes on. It's like
strolls in. He's like, "Hey,
it's like filled."
Yeah,
it's so cool. I love that scene. It's really cool. Yeah. It's so eerie, but like so like it's like he got teleported or something.
Yeah.
It's so scary. But then you start questioning what's real, what's not real, what's like the house is. I mean, not the house. The hotel's clearly like possessed. He's gonna start killing people soon, like something's about to pop off.
And plus the whole idea of what's real and what's not real, it's like obvious. Like anytime he's interacting with his family, that's real, and like him accessing the door, it's like that actually happened. But then certain things happen. I think there's only one thing that still has me kind of confused, is when the butler guy goes to meet Jack Nicholson when he's in the dry storage room, when Shelley Duvall was able to lock him in there. And they go, you didn't kill your family. And he's like, I'm sorry, I was going to do it. And, oh, actually, wait. Okay, so I'll just finish this, but then I'll get into that. Okay. And they go, okay, we're going to give you one more chance. And then you hear the bolt come out, and then he's able to open it. So it's like the hotel just physically moved something for the first time. And that's the only time in my mind where I'm like, that couldn't have been possible unless it was moved by an actual ghost. Otherwise, the rest of the movie isn't paranormal in any way except for just in his head, right? Or this idea of the Shining and all that.
It's like,
right?
or was that, it's just the thing where it's hard. It's
It
like,
been
was
his
that
kid.
It's
Or who
like
knows?
somebody could have unlocked, I don't know. It's just, it's weird.
Yeah, it
But
wasn't
yeah,
shown.
that's the only time where it's like, it's something, the house, it wasn't just like
move something.
Yeah, it wasn't
without
like
it being
an image
apparition
or a scene. Yeah.
Yeah. Because that's the
True,
difference
true,
between
true.
a ghost and a poltergeist, right? A ghost
Yeah.
can't touch you; it's
True.
just visual, and then a poltergeist can move things. But so aside from that one bolt, I was gonna say, so Jack Nicholson's character, the hotel's like, we're gonna possess you to kill your family, but he's completely unsuccessful. The other guy successfully killed his wife, who I'm assuming is the bathtub lady, and his two girls, who are the Play With Us Danny girls.
I hate those.
And then yeah, they're just creepy girls in general.
I'm waiting for them to pop up behind you like any freaking second.
Oh my, yeah, who knows? I just go like that. Let me go and they're gone again. Oh my
just
god.
like, oh my, oh.
Let's not play with
okay.
that. Let's not play with that idea. I'll go like this so you can see. But yeah, so Jack Nicholson completely failed at his task. I just think that's funny because then that also tracks onto his ability to write. He's just a complete failure. He doesn't end up doing it. He just writes a whole bunch of pages that say, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy.
Yeah.
Even though he literally plays.
Just like, over and over again.
It's like throwing a ball and stuff when he's in there.
Over and over again.
Instead of playing, or instead of actually doing work. And then doing work, he just writes the same thing over and over again.
Never. He just does that over and over again. Over and over again.
So it's like he failed as a writer. He wasn't able to write. So it's like you failed there. Then an entire hotel possessed you to murder your family. And then you failed at that. You couldn't even do that. It's like this guy, it's just very funny.
You fail at everything.
Back at it, where it's like, it's very scary because it's about this guy who's going to murder his family. But he doesn't do it. He doesn't even get one swing in on them. Shelley Duvall's able to cut his hand. He doesn't get anything, right?
She's pretty good in the movie, though. It's sad hearing that.
What happened to her in real life? Yeah.
Yeah, it's sad hearing about that because it's like, oh, did they all have to go through all this to get this? Just to get this? Damn.
Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't sleep.
It is good, but at the same time, it's not worth actual.
It's not worth. Yeah, where she's like thinking
messed up
she's
for
sleeping
life.
with aliens and stuff, like all this stuff, like.
Good. It's just one of those things.
So
but
whack. Yeah. Oh man, it's crazy. It's so crazy. But
the movie overall is obviously, as everyone's been saying since 1980, it's a great movie. It's very well shot.
Amazing, yeah,
very
really
beautiful.
Good.
And a lot of people say that Doctor Sleep sucks as a sequel because it's not in the same spirit. It's supposedly not in the same spirit as The Shining. Even though it's like takes place in the same universe, so it's the son is the main character now as an adult, and he has a drinking problem. But he has the ability, and he doesn't end up.
He still has the ability. Okay.
Yeah, but it's more fantastical. It's like it plays more into that world of what are these abilities and what can you do with it. Whereas in The Shining, it was just like a secret little side thing is that this boy has this ability, right?
Yeah.
But the difference between the two is that. Yeah, the sequel that came out is like an action adventure scary movie, and there's a lot more action sequences and like him using his ability in really cool ways. Whereas the first one is like this secret story about just like spousal abuse, it's like about families that have issues that can't deal with it and they're not communicating properly, and it's a devolving situation of this family breaking apart, right? And this guy just becoming homicidal. So it's closer to home. It's more scary because of that situation. That it's just this disturbing event of you don't know what's
real. It's more like
it's more gritty.
Yeah, it's more personal because, I mean, The Shining is clearly it's like a horror movie, I guess. I don't know what genre is it. A horror movie? Horror movie slash like thriller.
Yeah.
Right, and that's sometimes a little just in your face. You know what I mean? Because it's like you can walk away from that movie and be like, okay, that can't happen.
Yeah.
Do you know
the
what I
magic
mean?
elements can happen, yeah. And especially like the sequel, Doctor Sleep, it's like all of this is amazingly fantastic and none of it's real. So I'm not going to be scared of like a witch lady coming to take my kid away and like scare him to death or something. But in The Shining, it's like even if possession isn't real, a house isn't going to possess me. Cabin fever is real. And husbands murdering their wives does happen a lot. It's like, especially because of COVID, the abuse cases have gone up significantly because people have just been trapped in their houses and they've been driving.
And everybody just wants to know the story behind it. Everybody wants to know how. Why does that happen?
What happens behind the walls? How does it get to that place? Yeah, and that's
and it's usually they just go crazy. Usually they go crazy. It's like
it's a slow,
like for instance, one scary movie that I really enjoyed is The Conjuring 2.
Oh yeah.
Is that the one where he kills his family? Is that the one?
I
think it's Conjuring 2. No,
Like,
it's the okay. What's the one where he goes? Maybe I'm getting them mixed up. What's the one where he like goes into like another realm?
It's the same actor, Patrick Wilson, but that one is
Isn't it like Insidious? Okay, not that. Maybe it's not. It's not that one. It's the one where there's a female lead role is his wife, and she's like a psychic, and she goes to like houses. Is this
that's the Conjuring.
Okay? So in the number 1 or 2, I'm pretty sure what she does is like they go to a house.
Yeah.
And they are wondering why this house. I need to watch this movie again, actually, because it was good, but it's scary. And that's why I'll never watch it again. That's what I'm saying. I'm scared.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this is why I probably don't know some of the stuff because I just like hide. I hide behind stuff. I just go like this.
Yeah. Well, a lot of scary stuff happens in it. Yeah. But what was the idea?
So essentially, she, the psychic, like she can see what happened prior in the home. So I think what ends up happening is. The husband, but is there the current household? Does it happen again in the current household? That's why they call her, because in the current household, the dad killed the family in the current household. I don't know if that's true or not, but I know it happened in the past.
It happened in the past, and it's all about preventing it happening this time because it was like girls were scared because there was like a woman in their room or something. And so the Paranormal Activity duo, the couple were called, and they go to this house. And so the whole movie, they're in the house with the family. So the family doesn't die anymore because they're able to save them.
Okay.
But the girls are constantly almost getting killed by like this evil witch lady.
She's like a nun or something, some sort of like weird nun or something.
That happens.
Is this a different movie?
The Nun. No. It's in the same universe. Weirdly enough, in the Conjuring universe, there's a movie called The Nun, and it's about
oh my god, I can't
possess a nun. But the funny thing is, by the time the movie The Nun came out, because that's like after like 3 Conjuring movies came out or something.
Okay.
It was a prequel to all of the other movies because it came out like it's set in like the 1940s or something, and it ends. It's like death metal rock magic shit. It's like this evil nun is secretly like the devil who's pretending to be a nun, and an actual nun that goes there. That's like the Paranormal Activity fighter, and she is like a medium, and she can see the ghost. She finds the actual blood of Jesus from 2,000 years ago. It's like in this little glass grenade thing, and she like bites it off, and then has the blood in her mouth, and then the ghost grabs her and like holds her up and is about to kill her, and she like spits the blood in its face, and it goes, "Sah!" It's like a witch melting. And it's so dumb. I'm like, what is it? Is this an action movie?
How does she have Jesus' blood? What?
It's so dumb.
No,
I'm like,
that's too much.
Blood wouldn't be liquid after 2,000 years. It would be dust. Like
that would be dust.
It would be. It's like, what happens to blood? It's like only skeletons are left, you know? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Anyway, maybe she like mixed the dust blood out with the water. She's like in a sewer or something.
Oh my god.
And she did a little mouthwash and then spit it at the nun. I don't know. But it's very dumb. It's very dumb. It's still entertaining, but it's like reality TV. It's just stupid shit. You're like, what am I watching?
I want to watch The Conjuring 2 now. The Conjuring 2 now. In daylight, though. I have to watch that shit in daylight. Probably not.
Yeah.
I'll have nightmares. But that's what I'm pretty sure that's what happens in the movie. It's like they want to prevent the because I guess the dad got possessed by the nun or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's why he went out one night. He just went shh and just started to kill the family. Like what?
Okay.
What?
So now
why? Why did that happen? Like I need to watch this movie again. But it's like the same thing where you just always wonder. Like for instance, okay. My buddy was telling me that there was a house for sale.
Okay.
That's really cheap. Yeah. And like apparently the people that lived there before, my battery's dying. The people that lived there before didn't like moved out instantly. And it happened 3 times where they move out instantly. And this is why this house is so cheap. And then research has been done that apparently the guy killed his like kids in the house or something.
Oh, yikes. Yeah.
Or like there was like something where the dad like killed the mom or like and a kid, or like the dad killed like 2 kids or something. Damn. Where I'm like, What was going on in there? And then
I don't know.
after that, now people are living in there and they're moving out instantly. Why?
Something's going on.
Why?
Who knows? The house
like
is
stuff
possessed.
Like
it's like the Overlook Hotel.
It's possessed. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's possessed. Like clearly, like this situation where the house, the hotel is just possessed. So you go in there now,
and
live there. Oh, it's cheap. Okay.
It's like cheap. A drug. It's like slowly it starts to infect your mind and get in there.
You hear something and it's like, what? And then it's like, all of a sudden you like
aggressive.
start seeing weird things in the toilet and like start seeing weird stuff going down your bathtub.
Your reflection
you're seeing
starts
pictures
like morphing in the mirror. Yeah.
Yeah, and you're seeing like pictures changing. Oh, was this on the floor last time I was here? What?
Yeah. So
that type of stuff always happens.
Yeah. So, but to that, I will say this: the only thing we know statistically, so it's still very loose science, but the only thing we know for sure is that on nights with full moons, the rate of murder and rape goes up. And it's like a statistical fact because it happens at least once a month, right? Where the full moon comes out. So something's going on with a full moon that's somehow changing our physiology. It's making us angry or more agitated. And it's just affecting people. Granted, it's got to be people who have anger in them already. They're already people who are prone to violence. And they just have been calm so far, but like they're just ready to snap, right? Like people have more of a propensity to it than other people, right? It's hereditary. Yeah. It's something, right? So the people who are more prone to it, once something happens like a full moon where, it has a gravitational pull, so it's agitating the brain. Who knows what the heck it's actually doing, but it's doing something and it's making people angry. And they're going out on the streets and doing things more often than they would otherwise. So,
And it's like sometimes... Okay, well, actually, let's close up this episode. And with that being closed up, I have a kind of a question for everyone. What, in this situation, how would you feel if you were in a house, hotel, friend's place, whatever, something that's clearly that shouldn't have people in it or it's empty sort of thing, and you find that some weird things are going on? Would you now find that the use of alcohol would help suppress the way you're feeling, or would that add to the eeriness? Almost like in this, almost to the scene, almost to the scene where like he drinks, and then now it's like all these weird things are happening. Even more weird things are happening now.
Because he's more susceptible. He's loosened his mind. He's made it easier for them to get in. Yeah.
So, do you think that is almost like somewhat symbolic to like everyday life, like where, for instance, we're so exhausted, right? We come home from work, we need a reward for a drink, we relax now, and we're so lucid that all these things that are coming into us, we're perceiving as like, we're kind of getting like, kind of like
we're more sensitive to it. Yeah, hypnotized. Yeah, literally. Yeah, we're more susceptible to.
Would you agree or disagree? And like, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's like.
It has to be
like a ghost,
just feelings.
Like, it's just feelings,
Yeah. Are you?
I think that's something to like cool to think about.
Yeah, absolutely. And hopefully the people get back to us and we're able to expand on this a little more. But either way, thanks guys so much for being here and hanging out with us and just talking about The Shining and doing a little deep dive into spooky films and the difference, I guess, between. Our past episode on Flight, how it was about being a high-functioning alcoholic versus the movie like The Shining, where he's not high-functioning, he's abusive when he drinks. That's like the difference between the two guys, right? Alcohol affects everyone differently. So, it's like what in what way could these things change, or are we just doomed to whatever we're in, or
it's really intense because again it even goes back like with the lucid dreaming and things like that from last episode where I used alcohol very much to kind of numb those things. So for instance like demons and like whatever were like trying to like and I used alcohol to suppress those things. So it's almost like when he drinks in The Shining, it almost reverts it. It's like now he's able to see everything. It's pretty interesting. So
it's food for thought. And until next time, when we come back, will it be with a movie review? Will it be with a guest? Who knows? But until then, we hope you guys nothing but the best, and we'll see you in the next one.
Take it easy, guys.
See ya.